Most days, working in games journalism and getting to play and review new games all the time is a dream job. It's fun and it's an incredibly rewarding experience. Well, today isn't one of those days. I'm Colton from MMOHuts.com, and here's our first look at Street Warriors Online. Street Warriors Online is, on paper, a really interesting concept. It's a team-based arena fighting game with 3 classes of fighter to pick from and customize before terrorizing the streets, earning respect in cash, and climbing to the top of the Fight Club rankings. Unfortunately, that concept turns out to be a lot less like Tyler Durden and a lot more like the bland Edward Norton narrator in execution. The game's only mode at present is called Conquest. Teams of players brawl for control over certain points, which are claimed by tagging them with spray paint. You gain points every second or two for each tagged spot you control. When you hit the point cap, you win the game. The game's problems, however, cripple it before this ever really happens. To understand what I mean, we need to start at the beginning. After you make your character, you're thrust into the main menu. If you try to play a game, it'll recommend that you do the tutorial first, which is a good thing. This is genuinely a good thing. That's when the trouble starts, though. The game automatically assumes that you have a controller connected even if you don't, and it will not tell you the keyboard and mouse controls unless you look at them manually in the options menu. Once you've got a feel for the controls through the options menu, though, the game throws you another curveball by deciding at completely random times that even though you're doing what it says to do, that isn't good enough. I got stuck on the sprint tutorial for 3.5 minutes before I had to manually quit that section of the tutorial and force the game to proceed to the next part because it was no longer recognizing what I was doing. Take note of this, because this isn't the last time the game decides that it knows better than the player. The rest of the game's hindrances come from a lack of style or variety. The animations feel stiff and the characters seem too much like mannequins. The face customization is nice, but the models and art direction themselves feel cheap and they lack any sense of style or characterization. Part of the appeal of this game should be the ability to create a unique fighter and bring that character to life visually. Instead, everyone is running around playing with a stock generic Create-A-Wrestler from SmackDown 2 on the PlayStation. Something the game does right from a combat perspective, though, is allowing you to completely customize your combos. You can change the order of the attacks, which make selecting moves with certain properties a priority. This is a great mechanic. You get a punch combo and a kick combo, and you can arrange the order of the moves as much as you want. Moves you select can be upgraded with respect points to make them more powerful. More powerful moves cost more stamina though, so you have to find a good balance. The problem is, like I've said, all the moves look very stiff and generic, and the animations don't change much at all between classes. Everyone runs around doing the same series of moves more or less. Another problem is the stamina system itself. It's good in this type of 3D fighter to have a stamina system to prevent move spamming. It's not a good idea, however, to have the basic walk animation use your stamina. This makes escaping once you've run out of stamina a near impossibility. The game also features weapons, which are nice, but in all the rounds I played, they were lined up on the edge of the map in neat little rows. It'd be much better if they were scattered around the map and required even a tiny amount of effort to find or use. Part of the fun of arena games is knowing where all the best weapons are and racing other players to get there first or fighting the enemy team over control of those weapons. Another problem I had with this game is when I left the matchmaking room to browse the menus in the in-game shop to kind of explore those a little more, the game suddenly decided that I hadn't really left the matchmaking room and pulled me out of what I was doing to throw me into a match, even though I had closed the room. This goes back to that theme of the game deciding it knows better than the player does. There are moments in the game that feel satisfying though. Landing a knockdown combo and wailing on someone while they're on the ground is a lot of fun when the ground detection works. I had a number of knockdowns go unrewarded because my character decided he'd rather punch the air over his opponent than try to make contact with their actual body. That concept, it really is the entire story of this game. It's something that should be great and one day could be great, but as it stands right now, it lacks enough of any one good thing to make it even worth considering. Street Warriors Online is a wonderful concept, the kind of thing you might come up with while talking to your friends about what it might be like if you made a fighting game. Unfortunately, its numerous problems and general lack of style leave it far short of the mark. All in all, I give Street Warriors Online a sense of right alliance out of 10. Well, that's all for today. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe and keep it locked on MMOHuts.com for all the latest gaming news and reviews.